Running a business comes with its own set of risks, especially if you are a contracting business. You're trying to focus on the current job that you have. How do you do it to the best of your capability? How do you get the next job, the job after that? How do you have jobs lined up? How do you keep your employees and your team happy? Your vehicles, how do you keep those up to date? There are lots of moving pieces and risks that are associated with that. What happens if your property is no longer working? If you can't fix it, if it's damaged in a storm, your vehicle's in an accident, does that impact the income that's coming into your business, and how long can your business survive without an adequate amount of income? Here enters business interruption coverage. This coverage is there to help supply income for a period of time at the time of a claim in order for your business to keep your doors open. Business interruption coverage is there at the time of a claim to help your business stay afloat. So after the time of a covered claim, a tornado wipes out buildings, damages equipment, maybe your fleet of vehicles are damaged. This will help step in order to keep the business afloat so that you don't have to close your doors permanently. Some examples of what this coverage can provide is maybe you have utility bills, you have taxes, you have employee earnings that you need to pay out. Additionally, if there's lost wages, if there are future jobs that you've lost out at, you lost that contract because of this covered claim, then that's where that business interruption coverage will step in. This coverage is activated at the time of a loss. So if it is a covered claim on your policy and then you have that lost income, those lost contracts, that's when this coverage will step in and is available. There are several steps that you can take in order to help be proactive to eliminate the possibility of a claim and therefore needing this business interruption coverage. The first would be contractual risk allocation. So especially if you have subcontractors that you're hiring out, making sure they at least have the same amount of liability limits as you and making sure that the proper contracts are in place with them, those subcontractor agreements, so that at the time of a claim, the appropriate party is responsible for said damage. Also make sure that you have proper project planning and management before you're lining up for a job. Make sure you know what those steps are, how to do it efficiently, well, and at the quality of work that you always do. Risk identification and assessment is also important. As you're looking on at the jobs that you're doing, where do you see the risk? Where do you see these opportunities that lie? And how can you help, again, be proactive in that process and mitigate some of those losses before they even happen? Quality assurance is a big one, making sure that you have the best team members possible, the right equipment that you are using for the appropriate jobs that you're working on. Also, crisis management is another critical piece. In that worst case scenario, how does your business stay afloat? Who do you call? Where do you go? Making sure that there is a disaster plan in place. As a business owner, there are several important coverages that are included in a commercial package policy. Business interruption is one of them. You also likely are looking at commercial property for the buildings that you have, commercial personal property, for that materials that you have, what you take to job sites, inland marine coverage, commercial auto policy, probably an umbrella as well for that extra liability exposure. There are several pieces that kind of all come together in a contracting commercial policy. The cost of business interruption coverage can fluctuate based on what kind of limits, what kind of coverage you have. Is there, a waiting period, or is that active from day one? Your agent will be able to walk through that process depending on the complexities of your business. There can be worksheets completed in order to accurately determine how much coverage you may need if certain, equipment, vehicles, and such, again, are damaged at the time of loss. How much business interruption coverage do you need? These are just a few examples and kind of how business interruption coverage works and some of the other coverages included on a commercial package. We work with contractors every day. We'd love to have a conversation and see if we can help you out with your commercial insurance needs. You can please like and follow and subscribe to our social media content as well as our YouTube channel.